Mazda Capella, SNA S122A CB125, 1970–78. The first Capella was introduced in May 1970 and lasted until 1978, and was introduced as an intermediate alternative to the smaller Mazda Familia and the larger Mazda Luce. It was powered by 4-cylinder sock valve engines displacing either 1.5 or 1.6 liters. Output is 92 or 100 PS, 68 or 74 kilowatts, respectively, and 144 Nm, 106 pounds-feet, of torque for the larger displacement version. The first models all had rectangular headlights, while the rotary engine models received round twin headlamps beginning in October 1971. From 1972 all models received the double headlamps. The taillight design was changed repeatedly over the production run. This generation was sold in export markets as the Mazda 616 in sedan and, for some markets, coupe configurations. There was also a Mazda 618 briefly sold in the United States. An optional Mazda Wankel engine was offered and known as the Capella Rotary in Japan or the Mazda RX-2 for export. In addition to the 1.6, a Capella 1500 was added in October 1970. The Capella received a fairly thorough facelift in February 1974. This facelift included a restyled front end, lengthened by 110 mm, and a redesigned dashboard. This model received an optional 1.8-liter, 1769 cc, engine for some markets, and in Japan it was sold with the AP suffix, for anti-pollution. The 1500 was no longer available. The facelift rotary version received the CB12S chassis code rather than S122A. In Japan, the installation of a rotary engine gave Japanese buyers a financial advantage when it came time to pay the annual road tax, in that they bought a car that was more powerful than a traditional inline engine, but without having the penalty for having an engine in the higher 1.5-liter tax bracket. This was the only generation that had the rotary engine offered. The RX-2 was assembled under contract in New Zealand from 1972 for Mazda New Zealand by Motor Industries International in Otago, South Auckland. It was the first and only rotary engine car ever to be assembled in the country and was made as both a sedan, with manual or automatic transmission, and a manual-only coupe. The 616 was also built but was much less popular. In South Africa, where the Capella was assembled first by Elings and then by Sigma, it was available with a 1600 or 1800 reciprocal engines as well as the rotary. The rotary claimed 97 kilowatts, 132 PS, 130 horsepower, see in South Africa. The facelift version arrived 2 years late there, in mid-1976. At the end of that year, the Capella RS was introduced. This lowered version with raw-style wheels was limited to 20 cars per month. South African production of the Capella rotary continued into 1979, since Sigma had taken the decision not to build the second-generation Capella there but to focus on the Colt Gaulet instead.